Fever, no! But also, let's take a moment for KK, okay? She's that moment today. She's that girl always. Thank you. No cheat. Let the light get the nice little dog.
Imagine this scenario. The Chicago Sky hosts their most extravagant Barbie night yet, decked out with pink-themed decorations and building excitement around Angel Reese. However, there's a major issue. Angel Reese isn't even suiting up for the game. To make matters worse, they're about to suffer their third consecutive defeat this season at the hands of the Indiana Fever. The Fever entered the United Sonora venue. The Sky had specially reserved for this matchup and handed out a commanding 93-78 loss, prompting fans to sarcastically dub the evening Fever night. Despite Caitlin Clark not playing, Kelsey Mitchell stepped up with a season-best performance, scoring 35 points and making it clear that this so-called rivalry isn't as competitive as people believed. So, what exactly sparked Caitlin Clark's intense energy lately? If you're backing the Fever, drop a fired up in the comments. Let's get it going.
The Indiana Fever walk in to Chicago, the United Center, no Caitlin Clark, and they walk out with a W, 93-78.
The media loves to paint a picture that we're witnessing the greatest rivalry in women's basketball history. They highlight two second-year sensations, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, as if every matchup between their teams is a monumental showdown. ESPN amplifies the narrative, social media feeds into the hype, and suddenly, it feels like we're reliving the Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird era. The storyline is almost too perfect. Iowa against LSU, Indiana facing Chicago, the battle for Rookie of the Year. But when you look at what's actually happening on the court, the results tell a very different story. This isn't a rivalry, it's media-made fiction.
Let's go. Yep. Can't be able to sit though. The really good thing about having quality depth is when you don't have it, somebody else does. And KK? Yeah! Way to step up. Chloe, great job coming in. Good job. Lex, way to come in and make an impact. Kels, just
Here's the truth. No one seems to mention once the cameras stopped rolling. The actual head-to-head stats between these two teams tell a completely different tale. The Indiana Fever have thoroughly dominated the Chicago Sky, winning 6 out of their last 7 encounters. That's not a rivalry, it's a repeated, systematic dismantling. Focusing on this season alone, Indiana has now defeated Chicago 3 consecutive times, with a staggering combined scoring margin of 77 points. Let that sink in. 77 points across just 3 games. That's more than what some teams score in an entire game. In their first meeting this season, the Fever overwhelmed the Sky with a 35-point blowout. The second matchup wasn't much better, with Indiana cruising to a 27-point win, and then came the latest Barbie night fiasco, which ended in yet another convincing 15-point victory for the Fever.
This is absolutely a one-sided rivalry, and we've got to say it like it is. Like, we can't say Caitlin needs to do this, Caitlin needs to do that. Let's be real. The only reason this is still a rivalry is because the other side of the rivalry won't stop it. And by the way, it is extremely beneficial for Angel Reese to be in this rivalry.
Let's call it what it is. The media continues to push this rivalry narrative because it grabs attention. 2 rising stars, contrasting styles of play, and opposing personalities is the perfect storyline to sell. But when you actually tune into these games, check the final scores, and watch how one team consistently outclasses the other, the rivalry angle quickly loses credibility. Now, here's where things get especially embarrassing for Chicago. Even with Caitlin Clark sidelined, the Indiana Fever still came into their arena and took over on the Sky's biggest promotional night of the year. Chicago had booked the United Center specifically for this event, themed the night around Angel Reese with a full Barbie celebration, and yet, they were soundly defeated by a Fever squad missing their top star.
This is a fake, one-sided rivalry. We got Angel Reese taking more shots at Caitlin Clark unnecessarily.
So, what does this one-sided track record really tell us moving forward? It highlights a clear divide. One franchise is steadily building something special, while the other keeps arranging rematches, hoping the outcome will somehow change. The Indiana Fever have shown they can defeat Chicago in every possible scenario with Caitlin Clark. Without her, at home, on the road, in standard matchups, and even during the Sky's big promotional theme nights. This isn't a personal rivalry between Clark and Reese. It's Indiana using Chicago as target practice. The Sky continued to schedule high-profile games against the Fever, roll out another themed event, and end up facing the same embarrassing result. That's not a competitive back and forth. It's one team repeatedly asserting their dominance while everyone else pretends the gap isn't that wide.
It's the Kelsey Mitchell Show here in Chicago. Mitchell into the paint, able to lay it in. To Mitchell, she'll fire. You bet. Deflected, gets it back, and hit from three. See Mitchell for 7-3 of the day.
Kelsey Mitchell stepped into the United Center fully aware that she'd need to shoulder the scoring responsibility in Caitlin Clark's absence. Known for her consistency throughout the season, Mitchell took it to another level with a performance that etched her name into the Fever's history books. She erupted for a season-high 35 points, connecting on an impressive 12 of 19 shots from the field. Even more remarkable, Mitchell drilled 7 out of 10 attempts from three-point range, scorching 70% delivering exactly when her team needed her to rise to the occasion.
Money Mitch put him in a ditch, and Michaela Timpson treating the Chicago Sky like a bunch of Simpsons. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Kelsey Money Mitchell erupted today. Michaela Timpson continues to show every time you put her in the game, every time you give her some actual quality minutes, she will not disappoint.
Here's where things became truly memorable. Mitchell didn't just put up points, she made franchise history along the way. By the end of the night, she joined Caitlin Clark as the only players in Indiana Fever history to record at least 30 points, 5 assists, and 5 made three-pointers in a single game. That's an elite club with just 2 names on it. And Mitchell earned her place in that exclusive company on Chicago's Big Barbie Night, no less.
On 6 of 10 shooting in the corner, Mitchell connects on a 3. Indiana needed that. It's a 2-point game. There's a chance that gets changed to a 3. Mitchell looking to respond, and does. Things tightening at United Center. Mitchell has it deflected, gets it back, and hits from 3.
Mitchell's off-season work clearly paid dividends. She dedicated time training with a coach who also works in football, specifically focusing on defensive back drills to sharpen her footwork and lateral quickness. The angles, cuts, and movements she refined in those sessions were on full display as she navigated Chicago's defense, effortlessly finding her spots on the floor. Every shot she took looked fluid, and every move seemed second nature.
Indiana run after Chicago had cut it to 2. Poked away by Timpson. There's the deflection. Off to the races. Timpson finishes strong, forcing a timeout from Chicago. A 9-0 Indiana run, and the lead is back to 11.
Michaela Timpson, the rookie, all season long, when she's gotten minutes here and there, has made the most of them. We've seen it on the offensive end. Then here, just getting her arms in the passing lane, the deflection, finishing a tough look.
But Mitchell wasn't the only one putting on a show. Michaela Timpson turned in the best performance of her young career, scoring 14 points while shooting an impressive 6-for-8 from the field. That's 75% shooting efficiency in a hype game. After the win, Mitchell praised Timpson, calling her the ultimate professional and emphasizing how she's always prepared to step up. Timpson carries a quiet confidence, the kind that reveals itself exactly when her team needs it most.
How have you seen her improve and become more comfortable throughout this season?
She's amazing. One of the best rookies I think I've ever come across of. She's I don't know how to say it, like the ultimate pro. Shows up, no problems, nothing. When you have locker room culture happening, you need great people to make it greater, and I think we got a good addition here, so shout out to KK.
The Fever's newest addition also wasted no time making her presence felt. Chloe Bai, who signed a 7-day contract on July 25th, delivered an immediate spark by scoring 8 points in just 10 minutes on the court. Head coach Stephanie White commended Bai's ability to stretch the floor and open up space for Aaliyah Boston to operate inside. That's precisely the type of instant contribution teams hope for when bringing in a fresh signing.
By Williams, Hull gives it up. Chloe Bibby able to drain the 3. Recently signed
when they play Indiana.
And right now, Cardoso answering the bell really nicely. 12 points, 7 rebounds. Bibby again. How about the stroke of Chloe Bibby? Cardoso running the floor. Gets denied by Boston, returning the favor. Boston finds the cutter. It's Timpson who lays it in. That ends the 11-0 run. Here's Mitchell. Flips it in, wide open. Boston tracks it back down. Off to Boston. Backdoor, Mitchell the cut, and the finish. Tough bucket from Kelsey Mitchell.
Speaking of Olia Boston, she notched her third consecutive double-double, finishing with 14 points and 11 rebounds. But her influence extended far beyond just the box score. Boston also added 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, making her presence felt on every possession at both ends of the floor. Chicago simply had no solution for her complete, all-around performance.
Here's Mitchell, who has 15 in the quarter and a season-high 6 made threes. Hull will fire and hit at the horn. Big finish to the third from Indiana.
Lexi Hull delivered when it mattered most, knocking down key shots every time Chicago tried to mount a comeback. Her smart shot selection and perfect timing stopped the Sky from gaining any real momentum. Hull even hit some tough baskets that had the Fever fans and the crowd erupting with excitement.
500 points, becoming fastest Fever player ever to do so in a season. 9th 30-point game, second most in Fever history.
Second game, girl.
And season high.
I knew it!
KK career high in points.
Yeah, baby, run.
AB 11 double-double of the season.
Coach Stephanie White has emphasized team depth all season long. She's mentioned that having a deep roster means some players who deserve playing time might not always get it, but games like this show exactly why that depth is invaluable. The Fever's rotation held strong for the full 40 minutes, even without their top star on the court. This supporting cast sent a clear message. Indiana is not just Caitlin Clark and 4 other players. They're a fully built team capable of winning against anyone, on any night. Even with Clark sitting on the bench in street clothes, signing autographs, and cheering on her teammates, the Fever kept dominating. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky had pulled out all the stops for their biggest Barbie night of the season. The United Center was decked out in pink, exclusive merchandise filled the stands, and the entire event was centered around Angel Reese's Barbie image. The Sky's marketing team specifically booked this premium venue, hoping to create a special moment for their fans and give their team an edge against Indiana.
Let's check this out right here. Of course, this is supposed to be the arena that Angel Reese built, right? Question mark? Caitlin Clark right here signing autographs. Look at these fans. Are you kidding me? I mean, seriously. This person over here, show us Barbie. Not lined up for Barbie. In Barbie's own arena. Glad to see Chicago giving Barbie a welcome to Sophie Cunningham.
But this is where everything unraveled. Angel Reese was sidelined due to injury, leaving the Sky without their headline star on the very night built around her. What was supposed to be a celebration quickly turned into a disaster, as the Fever came in and crashed the pink party in the most ruthless fashion, and Chicago never saw it coming. As the game unfolded, social media lit up. Fans watched in disbelief as the Sky were dismantled on their own themed night. On Twitter, people started calling it Fever Night instead of Barbie Night. Instagram was flooded with memes, showing empty pink seats as Fever supporters cheered. Over on TikTok, users mocked the entire promotion, joking that the Sky should have renamed it Mitchell Night after Kelsey Mitchell's 35-point outburst.
I'm beginning to suspect the Indiana Fever are a better team than the Chicago Sky. Don't ask me why I believe that or think that. It's just a sneaking suspicion that I have. I mean, it could be the fact that the Fever spank them every time they play. Could be that. Maybe it's that. I mean, you can date back to last year, but this year, the Fever spanked the Sky in the season opener.
Without their star player, the entire celebration felt empty. Fans came expecting to watch Angel Reese take over, but instead, they witnessed the Fever dominate from start to finish. The pink decorations ended up serving as a backdrop to Indiana's statement performance, rather than a symbol of Chicago's success. And let's be honest, whether Reese played or not, the outcome likely wouldn't have changed in his post-game remarks. Coach Tyler Marsh sounded visibly frustrated, acknowledging that opposing teams have figured out how to exploit Chicago's vulnerabilities. His disappointment was clear, as he pointed out his team's repeated mistakes and failure to execute the game plan.
Here for Indiana. Now, one thing that we talked about the other day in New York, but you just have to appreciate about Caitlin Clark in these games, she knows a huge portion of these fans were hoping to see her play, and obviously they're not getting to. But she goes out of her way to make sure pregame she's signing autograph after autograph.
Rachel Baum's postgame comments summed up the entire vibe of the team. She admitted that the Sky entered the game with a screw-it mentality and honest reflection of where Chicago's confidence level stood. When players themselves acknowledge a lack of mental readiness, that's a glaring issue. The ultimate embarrassment. Watching your biggest promotional event get completely taken over by the opposing team? Fever fans outnumbered Sky supporters in multiple sections, and Indiana's players received louder ovations than Chicago's own roster. The atmosphere felt less like a Sky celebration and more like a Fever home game. Social media quickly caught on, renaming the event, and that nickname stuck the entire night. There's nothing more painful for a franchise than watching your own themed night turn into a victory party for the visiting team.
Talked about the other day in New York when it was 108 autographs that she signed. Well, today signed over 200 autographs. Was out for a long period of time, signing for fan after fan. So trying to make sure that she still is accessible to the fans here and helps create memories for so many of them. Here was Caitlin continuing to sign.
Here's where it gets really interesting for Chicago fans. Caitlin Clark spent the entire game signing over 200 autographs for Sky supporters who came to see her play. She remained the center of attention even while sitting on the bench in street clothes. That tells you everything about star power and which player fans actually want to watch. Clark's presence gives her teammates incredible confidence even when she's not playing. The team is taking a careful approach to her return, making sure she gets adequate practice time to regain her rhythm and timing. They want her back in the third week of August when she's completely ready.
Seen in the past, but one thing I have loved is that even though she's rehabbing and she wants to make sure she has access to the full artillery here of support for her rehab, look how happy the Blues are waiting to get an autograph from Caitlin Clark. And she has done this, even in a Cordosa jersey, she's done this ahead of every game, even while she's been out. And that's been really special to witness, especially. Oh, she's crying. She's crying. Look at her. This is what I'm talking about. It's right. Let it out. It's an exciting moment. WNBA Countdown. We'll be right back.
Chicago's most humiliating night has revealed an undeniable truth. The Indiana Fever aren't just defeating the Sky, they're showcasing which franchise is truly building for the future. This wasn't just another win to check off the schedule. It was a clear statement about the direction both teams are heading in the coming years. Chicago keeps booking high-profile games against Indiana at premium venues like the United Center. They continue organizing themed nights and special promotions, but each time, the Fever sees the opportunity to expose the widening gap between the two franchises. Indiana's 6-1 record over Chicago across the past 2 seasons isn't just the stat, it's proof of a team constructing a sustainable, winning culture. Meanwhile, the Sky are left hoping for a turnaround that never comes. The Fever currently sit third in the Eastern Conference, just 2 games back from Atlanta, and they're making legitimate playoff noise with or without their biggest star on the court.
I mean, good for her. She simply understands kind of the responsibility she has and loves helping grow the game in that way.
Yeah, and the emotion, of the fans when she does interact with them and sign with them, it really is amazing to see. Once again, Fisher Plummer are outstanding.
Caitlin Clark dominated the entire night without even stepping on the court. She spent 20 minutes before the game signing autographs for hundreds of Chicago fans, making her way around 2/3 of the United Center even as security tried to move her along. That's star power you can't fake.
Here's where things get even more revealing for Chicago fans. Caitlin Clark spent the entire game on the sidelines, signing over 200 autographs for Sky supporters who had shown up hoping to see her play. Even in street clothes, she remained the main attraction, highlighting the difference in star power and showing exactly which player fans came to watch. Clark's presence alone injects confidence into her teammates, even when she's not suited up. The Fever are taking a cautious, calculated approach to her return, ensuring she gets ample practice time to fully regain her rhythm and timing. The plan is to bring her back in the third week of August only when she's 100% ready to go. What makes this victory so significant is what it revealed about Indiana's roster. The Fever demonstrated they're far more than just Caitlin Clark and a supporting cast. Kelsey Mitchell's 35-point explosion, Michaela Timpson's career-best performance, Chloe Bai's flawless debut, and Aaliyah Boston's third consecutive double-double plus contributions from players like Lexi Hall or Sophie Cunningham on any given night showcase this team's genuine depth. When Indiana's rotation is healthy and locked in, they're capable of competing with anyone in the league. Meanwhile, Chicago's struggles only deepened. This loss dropped the Sky to a disappointing 7-18 record, marking their 5th straight defeat. Their playoff hopes have all but vanished, and their rebuilding efforts don't appear to be making meaningful progress. A lack of consistent chemistry and ineffective game planning continue to hold them back. Here's the exciting part for Fever fans. When Clark returns fully healthy for the season's final stretch, this Indiana squad becomes even more dangerous. Heading into 2025, they've developed the confidence to win without her, built trust in their bench, and proven they can thrive in hyper-sheer moments. Adding Clark back into that mix elevates them to a level Chicago simply isn't prepared to match. Caitlin Clark owned the night without even stepping on the court. She spent 20 minutes before tip-off signing autographs for hundreds of Chicago fans, making her way through nearly 2/3 of the United Center even as security tried to move her along. That's authentic star power you simply can't manufacture. With this win, the Fever improved to 14-12. Holding 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, just 2 games behind Atlanta. They're gaining real playoff momentum, and they're doing it without their biggest star. The team is being cautious with Clark's return, ensuring she has the practice time needed to fully regain her rhythm and timing. When she returns at full strength, this confident Fever squad becomes a legitimate threat for the remainder of 2025. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a fired up in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Click the video on your screen now to keep up with everything Indiana Fever. We'll see you in the next one.